Hello, loves. This is Brandi from Venus and Retro Tarot. Thanks so much for joining me in this space. If you're here for the first time, I'm so grateful for each new addition to the Venus and Retro family. All of you returning viewers and my A1 Day ones, welcome back. Thanks for believing in my work and bringing your beautiful energy here again another month. So this collective reading is for the month of March 2022, and our card of the month is the Hermit. First, what we're going to do is go over what this card means for the collective on a soul level this month, and then we're going to get some clarity from the oracle cards. Then we're going to jump into the tarot spread. So I just want to give you a rundown of how that's going to go. And I've added timestamps in case you only want to dive into certain parts, or you just want to get to the nitty gritty of the tarot spread and come back to the woo-woo later. Totally up to you. Excuse me. So since this is a general reading, I'm going to recommend that you pause the video before we get started. Take a few deep mindful breaths to connect with your guides and your higher self so that you'll be able to tune into the messages that are intended for you. Because since this is a general reading, not everything will apply to everyone in the same way. And some messages are just better left for someone else if they don't seem to apply to you at all. So go ahead and pause this video now and go ahead and do your deep breathing, and I will meet you back in the reading. See you in a little bit. Okay, welcome back. So I'm going to move our tarot deck over to the side because we're going to start off with an explanation of what the Hermit is for us this March 2022. So the Hermit, just like I spoke about with strength last month in the, ringing in February with Aquarius season, now we're in Pisces season, and the Hermit is ruled by Virgo. So that is the opposite sign, and this has happened January, February, and March will be the final, month that this happens in the beginning of 2022, where the card that rules the opposite sign of the month that we're, in that solar zodiac sign is present for us. So it's really a balancing and a alchemy almost of those energies, a blending. So what the Hermit really tells me is that in Pisces season, if you look at it from an astrological perspective, I know not everybody agrees with reading astrology this way. I like it. It's helpful for me. I'm, neurodivergent and my brain likes certain systems, but how this helps me is that I correspond Pisces with the 12th house in certain ways, not in every way, but with Pisces being the 12th house, it's really like we're integrating, it's the final sign of the zodiac. And, all of those lessons from, the beginning of the zodiac year in 2021, when we began Aries season, it's like we're really taking time to digest that. And Hermit energy is perfect for that this month, because what we're doing is taking a moment to reflect and be introspective. And one thing I really love about the Hermit is that with Virgo being its ruler, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and it has to do with the mind. So really, other than his staff and his lamp, his mind is the tool that he's using for integration and healing. So it's like a message of you have all you need, in just collecting the wisdom, of your experience over this past year. And this month, you're really going to work on excuse me, let me get some water. And this month, you're really going to start to integrate what you've learned over the past year, and come to a newfound sense of wisdom. Not that you weren't wise before, but we all continue to grow and expand, as we get older, and these cycles repeat. And within that spiral, new lessons are learned and integrated. So that's really what I see, for the month of March. Coming into Pisces season, it's like, we are the weathered old man who has learned all the lessons. He's taking them with him. And then we are, at our moment where it's like we're ready to, die to, a metaphorical death, but die to this, put away this old year and be rebirthed anew in Aries season at the end of March, where, we're these new baby birds, and we're seeing things through the eyes of children again, but it's almost like we're taking that internal wisdom with us on a cellular level into a new cycle. So that's really what I'm seeing this month for the collective. Really a time for reflection, not a time that I'm getting intuitively for a lot of like outward action oriented movement, even though right now, like the planets are all direct. There's still a lot of, energy that's going haywire. Uranus is in Taurus. We're dealing with those Saturn-Uranus squares. The Pluto return is happening, and I think we're going to get some hits really soon, of the Pluto return of the United States. So it's like really not wanting to make any huge changes or, any big upsets in your life right now, but maybe taking time to digest what you might want to see on the outside, in the coming months. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start with a couple of oracle cards that might give us a little bit more information about what this Hermit energy wants, how it wants to be expressed in the collective this month. What's on the back of the deck first. So back of the deck, women supporting women. Okay, so this might be a time where, even if you don't identify as a woman, community supporting community, where together we can transcend our individual limitations, by coming together, and we're coming out of Aquarius season into Pisces season and integrating, some of that, community kind of, just the ways in which we can work as a collective together. So I would look at this as like, rather than gendering this card, I can't control what the deck makers put in the deck, but I would just say, people supporting people or folks supporting folks, but it's card 22. That's a master number. Reduce that down to a 4. That's really asking for a sense of stability. But transcending our individual limitations really speaks to the Hermit, integrating wisdom of understanding where some of our limits may have been, that maybe we didn't recognize before, but we're understanding now. So let's see what cards are coming out. So circles, clarity begins in the eye of the storm. Okay, so again, a message of wisdom. Hard lessons really do teach us things. So, 2021 was a very difficult year. I can't speak for everyone, but I know for myself and a lot of people that I know, it was very, very difficult. And, circles, this reminds me of, cycles too, that, those cycles where it feels like you're in the eye of the storm, or, that you come out of a storm and then you're back in there, but each time that you experience similar energies, it's like you gain a little bit more clarity each time, you gain a little bit more wisdom. And let's see what else. Transitions, card 37. So you have all the inner resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise on your path. And didn't I say with the mind, the Hermit, Virgo being a sign that's ruled by Mercury, your mind is all you need to heal yourself, and to be a part of helping to heal the collective. So you have all the inner resources. The Hermit, this beacon is, like all he has is what he's carrying on himself. He doesn't need anything else because he has acquired lessons over his lifetime, and they just reside within him. Okay, so let's move on and pull some more oracle cards to clarify maybe some archetypes or a little bit more information about what the Hermit will bring for the collective in March of 2022. So, oh, there we go. We already got one, the Magi. Okay. And this to me really speaks to magician energy. Didn't I say something about the, those opposite energies working together of the Hermit, being Virgo energy and being in Pisces season, almost being like alchemy. And the magician is an alchemist, so this, and the magician card is also ruled by Mercury. So really working with the mind this month. And that to me is also with this eye here is seeing with maybe not your physical eyes, but with the eyes of your intuition, because Pisces is very intuitive and Virgo is very perceptive in the way that they pick up information and they notice the little details. So maybe with the alchemy is like blending those two, like really noticing the little details, but allowing your intuition to really take in and process, what you see. So big magician energy, very magical for us this month. Let's see what else we get. All right, and connect to heart. Okay, and Pisces, is the ruler, is Neptune, the planetary ruler. So Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, and Venus is very heart-centered. Neptune is like that too. It is an expansive, heart-centered energy. It's almost like that cosmic love energy. So look, this circles, you see these people, in community dancing around this horse, and, this transitions, you have all the inner resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise on your path. Maybe the inner resources are very heart-centered. Remember to connect to heart, and if we're looking at Virgo being the ruler of the Hermit, that heart and mind connection, making sure that those two are in sync with each other, because sometimes if we're a little bit too much in our heads, we can mentalize problems that really can be solved when our heart is telling us, information, is giving us critical information that could help us. And then two, sometimes if we're so into the heart, we end up becoming overly emotional. And, I'm not saying that and like you're being irrational. I'm saying we get so overly emotional that sometimes we become attached to things or people, that aren't serving us anymore. And in Pisces season, where we are coming to a close in this astrological year, some things are meant to fall away. So really allowing yourself with this Magi energy, to blend those two, to allow that alchemy. So that is really, really wonderful. And now that we've done our oracle reading, I'm going to go ahead and pull our tarot spread. So I'm not going to make you guys like suffer through watching me shuffle on camera like I did last month. I'm going to go ahead and pull the spread, and then I will come back to you. Okay, so we're back. We have our spread pulled and now we're going to get into it. Okay, so we've already been over our collective card of the Hermit. So our first card is going to be the present energy for the month, the central energy for the month, and that is the Five of Swords. Okay, so what I'm seeing is, and I'm pretty sure that we pulled this in the past energy for last month's spread in February. There's some of this energy carrying over from the beginning of the year that's still present in this month. And with the Hermit, you know, how I talked about, we're going to be doing a lot of introspection, a lot of thinking, a lot of reflecting on this past year. There might be some things that you're still really trying to deal with, some really difficult, tough lessons or situations that you really had to deal with. Maybe you were dealing with a person, you know, who has a win at all costs kind of perspective as far as, you know, if there were any conflicts, arguments, and it just seemed to give you a headache. Like, I don't want to be part of this, you know, I really want to be past this. Why do we have to go there? You know, and you're really just really sick and tired of it, you know, and this Venus and Mercury retrograde that we just had, you know, and just really, you know, being in that period. I mean, the Venus shadow started way back in November. So, you know, we're just coming out of, I'm filming this at the end of February, you know, the post shadow periods for all of these are, you know, happening, you know, just ending in, you know, mid to end of February. So this has been months of, you know, really, previewing, going through, reviewing, and then reviewing again. You know, there's been a lot of Mercury, Pluto contacts, you know, Mercury and Pluto, when they come together, it's, you know, it can be a lot of conflict and, you know, it can be people saying really shitty things to you, or, you know, going over things over and over again in your mind, you know, and feeling like you have no control over, you know, getting off of that hamster wheel. So there could be some of that that's present. And with the Hermit being our collective card of the month, it's like, you know, a reminder that you gained a lot of wisdom, especially over this past few months with those two, you know, planets, Venus and Mercury. Look, we got the Magi, Mercury, connect to heart. I feel Venusian energy here, Venus, like they're still very present here, you know, in these transitions. You know, you have all the inner resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise on your path. With, you know, we're all going through heavy transitions, you know, and gaining a lot of clarity, just like the Circles card says. Like, you have a lot of wisdom, and the challenge this month, you know, that is really going to be central to all of us is how can we move through our day to day without letting this challenging energy, this you know, that really wants to attack our brain centers and really, you know, it's like an elephant sitting on your head, making you feel like shit. Like, how can you lean on support? How can you get through the day? How can you still maintain, you know, a sense of healing, you know, and community? Because, you know, with the Hermit, it can be a little bit of an isolating energy, but you don't have to do it alone. I don't think that there are many things that we're meant to do completely by ourselves on our spiritual journey, or, you know, on our path in general. Humans are very social beings. We need each other. So, you know, that is going to be a really big challenge for the collective this month, is like, what are those messages, you know, that have been almost subtly programmed, or even not so subtly programmed, that almost make you believe, you know, lies about yourself, or that make you feel like you know, I failed, or I lost, you know, and this person's winning at my expense, or this situation is really beating me down. That's really going to be something day to day that we're going to have to reckon with. And let's see a little bit further, like how we can lean on support. But, you know, before I do that, I want to pull a little bit of a clarifier to see in what realm like why this Five of Swords has come up, you know, last month and then again this month, because last month it was referring to January, and now this is the central energy for this month. Okay, and we got the Moon. Okay, and the Moon is a card pairing of the Hermit. So, okay, this makes a lot of sense to me that this is also a card that is ruled by Pisces, the Moon. So a lot of these defeating thoughts, or thoughts where you feel like you lost, it may be that, one, there are a couple messages that I'm taking away, that some of you, this is really keeping you up at night. It's really affecting your sleep. It's affecting your waking life, and it's really, you know, if you're still able to sleep, it's really infiltrating your dream space. And that's something where you might want to keep a dream journal or keep a notepad by your bed, you know, to see what your subconscious is really trying to tell you. Because especially in Pisces season, we are all going to be much more sensitive to the subtle realms, and our dreams are going to speak to us a lot more clearly than they normally do, especially if you feel like you don't remember your dreams a lot. You might feel like you do. And some of these Five of Swords situations or these feelings, they might be coming through in the dream space. And, you know, that's one way that this might show up. Another message that I'm getting is that there might be aspects of the situation that you can't quite see, that you don't understand, and you feel like you're in the dark about. And that's something that it's okay to just be with what is, because we don't always know everything and we can't always control everything. But moon energy doesn't last forever, right? What comes after the moon? The fucking sun. Like, things are meant to be illuminated on your path. And like, if you're letting this Five of Swords energy kind of like fester and go over and over and over in your mind, knowing that you don't know, and it's still not going to provide you any more clarity, you're just giving yourself a headache. Give yourself a break. Like, allow yourself, you know, the wisdom that this Hermit has acquired is to know when to put things aside for a little bit. And I'm not saying that that's easy. It's really hard, but maybe get out of your head and connect to heart a little bit, you know, where instead of, you know, thinking over and over, like, we really need to bring that down into our heart space. And, you know, maybe also that can, you know, mean calling in somebody that you trust, a friend, you know, a therapist, whatever ways that shows up for you. We just came out of Aquarius season. What kind of groups are you a part of? But don't allow yourself to be alone, because sometimes, you know, the challenge of the five is that we can, you know, think that we have to do things by ourselves, and you don't. So that is definitely something to be aware of as our central energy for the month. So let's look at what the subconscious influence is for this Five of Swords. Okay, so we got the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So what I'm seeing is under the surface, excuse me, of this Five of Swords energy. Here, I'm just gonna kind of move this moon card to the side. Working with limited space, so I'm just gonna have to keep moving things around. Sorry, guys. But there might have been a situation that you were in where you felt like you were doing a lot of giving, and the counterpart to the situation, whether it was a person, a business entity, an organization, what have you, a family member, anything, like, you were giving a lot more than you were receiving. And things aren't always equal, but this to me feels more habitual, of like, I'm giving to the point where I feel burnt out. And this is almost like putting you in a situation where you are the person that they rely on for this, and they're putting you in a role that maybe you didn't ask for. And that's where this stressful feeling is coming from, of like, it would be one thing if I was offering my gifts, my talents, and my time, but right now maybe that's not the capacity that I have to give, because I'm having a tough time myself, and I've just been volunteered for this role by someone else, you know? So that's really what I'm getting from this card, because it's in the reverse. It's like there is some kind of imbalance of giving and receiving, and it really feels like you got the shitty end of that deal, and it really was making you feel really bad, because it's like, you know, I'm giving away so much. I feel like I'm losing a part of myself, and this person, you know, is just taking from me. And whether they realize it or not, you know, it could be malicious, it could not, but, you know, it's almost like they have to win. They don't care if you lose. And, you know, that is no way to be in relationship with anyone, or even at your job. Like, you know, especially now where, you know, we're in situations where, you know, we're at the mercy of corporations. You know, if you're in the private sector, you know, and you work at a job that, you know, they want you to work extra hours, and, you know, say you're sick and you can't come in that day, or you have a family emergency, and they basically say, I don't care, like, show up or you don't have a job. And what are you going to do? It's like, I can either not show up, and then I have to figure out how to feed my family, how to pay my bills, and this shit is real, you know, or I can suck it up, and this, you know, would be a really big sacrifice to me, where they are taking from me, and the money that they're giving me is not even worth it. You know, it's just enough to survive, if that, you know, but they are getting all the benefit, and I feel like I'm losing a piece of myself, you know, but I have no choice. So I'm getting a lot of different messages from that, but it's just very imbalanced, and it's on, you know, a subconscious level, but it's like, it could be starting to surface, is what I'm feeling with this moon card. It's like, it's right under the surface of the water. Because if you know, excuse me, I have a really dry throat. I'm getting over being sick. If you know the moon card in the Smith Rider-Waite, it's like, there are these wolves howling at the moon, and there's like this lobster, this crayfish walking out of the water. But, you know, the water is our subconscious, you know, whatever is beneath it. It's just, you know, it's trying to rise up, you know, like that crayfish, or I like to call it a lobster, you know, so, but it's like, it's coming up, and you're realizing just how fucking done you are with feeling so used. So yeah, and it's like, with the moon card, you don't know necessarily what you don't know, and you don't know how to get out of this situation, but just understand, eventually these things will be illuminated for you. The moon reflects, just like the Hermit is a reflective energy. Eventually the sun comes out, and, you know, things are much more clear. Just like in the Circles card, clarity. It begins in the eye of the storm. This is very stormy weather. The background of this card, you know, look at these waves. You know, it's very choppy, but, you know, eventually things will become clear for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cross that right there. Let me just grab some water and we'll move on. Okay, so the next card that we have is our conscious influence to this Five of Swords energy. Look at that. Nine of Swords. Doesn't that go pair well with this clarifier of the moon? I said, like, this is keeping you up at night. It's causing a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of worry. You know, Nine of Swords can be like, I really don't want to do this, but I have to do this, you know, and, you know, in the short term, I know that this is getting me by. Hopefully it won't be forever. And, you know, that's something where maybe, you know, you can give yourself some encouragement, because I really don't think that, you know, things that, you know, situations like that where we feel used and abused, that they're meant, you know, for us. Nobody is meant to be used and abused, but anything that makes us feel this way, like, see this Six of Pentacles, I said that energy was surfacing. It's like, you know that it's wrong, that you shouldn't feel this way, but you do. And it's like, you want peace and rest. You want to be able to feel like you know, you're valued. You want to feel like at night you can sleep well knowing that, you know, you can take care of yourself, and that relationships that you're in, whether it's your job, whether it's with your family, whether, you know, it's with your significant other, what have you, that, you know, you're supported because you support people. And it's like, how do they show up for me, you know? So that really is, you know, very in line, this Five of Swords and Nine of Swords energy, where the Six of Pentacles is really saying that you are so giving of yourself right now, you know, and that you're giving more than you should. So if you're feeling that way, just know the cards are really affirming that for you, that it's not in your head, that, you know, if somebody is playing mind games with you and making you feel like, you know, why aren't you doing more for me? Or, you know, what's your problem? I just asked you something simple and I would do this for you, but you know, they're not doing it for you. They're not showing up for you, that you're not making this up. Like, it's here in the cards, and, you know, it's okay to feel how you're feeling. Obviously, however we feel is okay anyway, but like the stress and anxiety it's not okay for someone to be doing this to you. So that's coming from me, affirming that for you. Like, any situation that makes you feel this way is not meant for you. So let's look at what from from February, the past month's influence, where this is really coming from. Okay, the Hierophant. Okay, so the Hierophant is another 5 card, and it really can speak to higher institutions. So for some of you, I really was feeling that this could be like a job situation, or even, you know, a community situation where you're part of a community group, you know, a church group, you know, any kind of, you know, group where you gather. You know, a Hierophant has to do with higher laws. Like, it could be, you know, a legal situation that you're in. I know usually the Justice card deals with legal situations, but I see that in the Hierophant as well. You know, but just know that it's like that energy is challenging, and, you know, you are meant to connect to spirit. There's an element of that with the Hierophant, is like that you're not meant to lean on your own understanding sometimes, or to lean on yourself for support, because there is an element of, like, if we think about the card that comes before it, the Emperor, like, we're learning how to set our foundation. And then in the 5, where we come, you know, we meet the Hierophant, who in some tarot decks is called the Pope. We're introducing a source that's higher than ourselves. So invite source in, you know, to give you, you know, support, and seek knowledge and seek wisdom from people who can help you. Qualified people is who I see as well, because it can be, you know, someone who has an area of expertise in, especially if this is something where you feel like you need to take legal action against somebody, doing your homework now. You know, the Hermit is, you know, Virgo energy, but really collecting sources, doing your research, can help you. But it's like, maybe you were already considering that in February, where some of this stuff was starting to bubble up. But then also, you know, for some of you, it could be that some of the source of these problems is coming from institutions, you know, and that could be working in private corporations. It could be problems, you know, with payments from the government if you're on disability, or if you require government assistance and you feel like you're getting screwed over, you know, so many ways that this could apply. But, you know, just know that, you know, there are resources and ways, you know, for you to be helped. You just have to, you know, ask the right questions and seek out the right people. So let's move forward and look at the next card. And this card represents fire. And that is where we want to take action this month. Okay. Excuse me. And we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So the Ace of Pentacles is like, we want to plant a seed somewhere. And any ace is a gift from the universe. So it's like we really want to take action in planting our seed, maybe in more fertile soil, because we feel like where we are right now is not it. Like, this is not doing it for me, is what I'm hearing. Like, and I need to, if I already have seeds planted somewhere, dig that shit up and plant it somewhere else, you know, is what I'm feeling. And it's really fiery energy. It's like, I need to make a move. Where I am is not working for me. It doesn't feel good. I'm stressed out, and I know that I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to make a transition, but I can't do it here. I'm stuck. And what's going to happen to the seed that I plant? It's just going to wither and die, because this soil is more like sand, or it's, you know, it's not a place that I can really water it and tend to it the way that I want to, because I don't have the time or the space to even take care of myself, let alone worry about my personal growth. So it's really, really, with this Ace of Pentacles, I see wanting to make a long-term change that will bear fruit and really take care of you and the ones that you love. But, you know, and it really, like, it's something that is really, really needed for so many people in the collective. You know, especially, like, I can't speak for other places around the world, but in the United States, our government is not taking care of us. Like, they really are leaving so many people who are desperate and hurting to rot. And it really, like, I've considered so many times, like, where else can I uproot, you know, pick up my roots and take my family? Like, when I think of, you know, the fact that they're trying to overturn Roe v. Wade, or, you know, people have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs and they're still not getting by. Like, is this the kind of future that I want to set up for my children? You know, and I am of two minds. It's like, this is my home and I don't want to leave it. I want to stay and fight and, you know, fight for change. But then at the same time, it's like, you know, how long is that change going to take? And will it bear fruit in time for my children to see it? Or, you know, to leave my legacy that's healthy, you know, that bears fruit for, you know, my descendants. So that's really what I'm seeing with this Ace of Pentacles. It's like, time to make a change, really, you know, time to uproot something, you know, that's really not lighting our fire anymore, and setting it in soil that really will, you know, make us feel passionate again. So that really, to me, let me see, let me pull a clarifier too. It's like, where does this ace want to be planted? Let's see. We get the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So it's like, yeah, really being tired of these same cycles. It's like, there are promises made over and over again, like how things are going to get better. Just hang in there, baby. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And you may not even have any fucking boots, you know, and things are going to get better this next election cycle. Or if we can just get this person in the government, you know, when it's like, politicians are just people, you know, and this can apply to many different things. I'm saying politics because this really, to me, is something that I've been feeling a lot lately, especially with the Pluto return of the United States. Is like, you know, it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Is, you know, the Wheel of Fortune upright is like my shit happens card. You know, and it's like you have to figure out how to deal with the shit. What I'm feeling with Wheel of Fortune in reverse is like, shit happens, and like, what is the point? What is the point? Because like, you just have to keep dealing with over and over and over again, and like, they just keep saying like, stay hopeful, and nothing comes of it. So that's what I'm feeling from that. It's just like a lack of passion for where you are. And hell, I feel like I could be reading that for myself as well. I mean, I am part of the collective, but definitely feeling that energy. So the next card that we're going to look at is water, and that is what our emotional selves are focused on and feeling. And look at that. Ace of Wands. Like, we really want to be lit up again. We want to feel passion. We want to feel, you know, that energetic, like life force energy where it feels like it's really being put out, you know, by the amount of stress that we've dealt with. And you know what? I meant to pull a clarifier for this Hierophant. So let me just see a little bit, because sometimes with the past energy, especially with the Hierophant, because this is a card to me that means so many things. I really wanted to see, let's see. And we got the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So yeah, this really does feel, we got another, you know, Pentacles, like wanting to build something for yourself. This really feels like career, more like finances, earth energy. It's like, you know, really present energy of like wanting to hone something and build it and, you know, do something over and over and over, really perfecting it, so that it's something that can feed you, like this Ace of Pentacles, right? You know, but it's been challenging and you have been working to really become, you know, have a sense of mastery over something. And maybe it hasn't worked out because of the ways, you know, that all of these challenges have presented themselves as well. So yeah, seeing that too with the Eight of Pentacles. And it's like, you know, you're caught in this web, you know, the spider builds the web, but it's like almost like this system is the central, you know, is the Hierophant in this card, like, you know, the spider in this card, and it's just waiting to like eat you up. You know, some of these really old systems that need to go away, it's like waiting to catch you in that trap, and you know, where you feel like you can't get away. So yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. But being, you know, wanting some emotional freedom, wanting to feel passionate again, really focused on that feeling. So maybe even though you're in this space of feeling that Nine of Swords, and subconsciously knowing that you're anxious and stressed, and maybe this is how you feel at night, like in your waking life, you're really trying to focus on, you know, that positive feeling, like feeling it in your body, like feeling it with, like the Magician is a manifester, like visualizing how it is that you want to feel so that you can bring it into your life. But then also with this Eight of Pentacles, it's like Pentacles are about doing. So it's like visualizing and making it happen through repetition. So, you know, visualization will only get you so far. In manifestation, I think, you know, a lot of, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, you know, you can visualize all day, and I think that's helpful. It gets you in the right mindset to manifest, but it will not bear fruit if you're not taking actionable steps towards manifesting what you want to see in your life. So yeah, this Eight of Pentacles to me is saying like, you're willing to do the work. So that's really, really good. And you're putting yourself in this feeling of like, you know, I can feel this passion bubbling up in me. So the next card that we're going to look at is Air. And this is things that we may be thinking or wanting to communicate, either to someone or just in general to the collective. Okay, and we got the Seven of Wands. And even though in this card, I really do like this sense of calm that she has in this card, while all of these wands are pointed at her, like that she has this like sense of peace, you know, and she's centered. But this is usually a very challenging card. It comes after the Six of Wands, where we have experienced some kind of victory. And to me, this says that either energetically or with your voice, that you're wanting to really speak out and say, I have come by some lessons and they were really hard won. And I have overcome a lot of things in my life, and I will fight until the day I die to defend, you know, what I have, the position that I have, or what, you know, I should have, my rights as a human being, my rights, you know, as, just a creature, of a divine being, of this earth that is a reflection of the Most High. Like, but I really like the peaceful nature of this card. It's like, your emotions are very fiery, but it's grounded and centered from this place of like, it's shining out of her solar plexus, which is a place of like personal freedom. It's like, no matter how much you try to cage me, I'm free. You can't do anything to me that hasn't already been done. So anybody who tries to challenge me, just know, like, I'm strong. I'm infinitely strong. So, if there's anybody that you need to say that to this month, go ahead and say it. But, if that's just the kind of energy, energetic communication that you need to put out, definitely, don't let anybody steal your shine, because, victory starts within, with this Ace of Wands, where, her third eye is lit up, and her solar plexus is lit up. It's like, you can't steal my peace. You can't steal my joy, no matter how much you try. And, you might need to separate yourself from certain people if they are disturbing your peace that much and making you feel like this. So let's take a look at Earth, the Earth element. And this card represents what our everyday routine might look like. Okay, and we got the Two of Wands in reverse, which really harkens back to that Ace of Wands. It's like, we might still be in that incubation period because we don't want to necessarily have a false start where, we want to make a move somewhere and then it's like we're not quite ready. We're still in the planning stages. Remember, I said that in the beginning of the video. This is a Hermit month where we're doing a lot of introspection, a lot of reflection. We're, we have that inner wisdom that we're reflecting on. We're connecting to our heart center, but we're also in big transition time. That this Two of Wands is like, yes, I am looking forward to the future, but I'm not ready to take action quite yet. There's this fire that's lit from within, so that Ace of Wands is present. And, the planning stages are good, but I'm not necessarily, going to take action on any of those plans. It's like incubation stage. Just like I said, in Pisces, from that transition from Pisces to Aries, it's like we're back in the womb, ready to be rebirthed. So, once you come bursting out of there screaming and crying, you might be ready, to take some more of those steps. But right now, we're kind of still in the eye of the storm and trying to figure things out. So, Hermit represented by Virgo. Virgos are very good at making lists, so make your plans. Make lists, but don't start making any hard and fast plans. Yeah, let me clarify that. So if that makes sense, like it's almost like doing the steps before the steps, rather than, like, I'm setting my sights on this. This is what I'm going to do. It's like, we're not quite there yet. Okay. So what is a possible ending to the month for the collective? What does it look like? Okay. So the Page of Cups in reverse. So what I see, because even though I read the Page of Cups as kind of like a Scorpio card, this card in the Light Seers Tarot, which is what I'm reading with, has much more of a Piscean flavor to me. Let's look at it upright. It's like, his feet are off of the ground. He's not rooted. There are waves of energy coming off of his heart, and it's like, when pigs fly, there's a pig with wings and, a pot of, a golden pot, but it's like wishing for things that you love and not being afraid to dream and imagine. But it's like at the end of the month with this being in the reverse, it's almost like, we're past the point of, either we're past the page stage where we're ready to kind of move on to the Knights and, take some more action towards expressing what we want. Or it's that rather than the Page of Cups, we're looking to the opposite you know, because the opposite of water energy is earth energy. So we might be in a little bit more of a rooted, you know, Page of Pentacles type energy where we're really wanting to make things happen. So let me pull a clarifier. Oh, that's way too many. But okay, I did see the Son of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands. Okay, and that's making moves, you know, towards what it is that brings you joy. And then I see another Court card, which is the King of Pentacles, and that is a grounded figure who has a responsibility to take care of others and, you know, wants to leave a legacy behind him. So I'm going to go ahead and take those because they seem to really resonate with this reading. So that to me is a really good message. It's like there's going to be some challenging feelings, and, you know, that it can't always be like love and light, hippy dippy, like, oh, you're gonna have like a blessed month and it's gonna be the best ever. Like, I'm sorry, I wish I could give those messages like every month, but that's not real life. This to me feels challenging, but it feels like something that towards the end of the month, like we're moving towards, you know, Aries season. Wands is fire, you know, but feeling a little more rooted so that we can move through the world in a more passionate way. So what I'm going to do next is pull a couple of oracle cards for all of us to see what other messages our guides and the universe might have for us. Holy shit, that's way too many. Of course, my decks always want to explode, and I'm like, just give me one card, okay? Just one. Okay. All right. Invisibility mode. We got 2 here. An equal but opposite reaction. So it's like, okay, this feels like the beginning of the month to me, the Hermit. Like, you might need to go ghost a little bit, you know, and hide up in your house, or, you know, just spend some time to yourself. And that's okay. Like, you might need time to recharge. And then an equal but opposite reaction. This to me feels like whoever or whatever is, you know, making you feel stressed out, it's like you're matching their energy, but almost in a positive way. It's like you're not meeting them from a place of malice, but almost dishing out a little bit back to them what they've given to you, because sometimes we have to serve a little bit of justice ourselves. I mean, and maybe that's the Capricorn in me speaking, like, and, you know, the cardinal energy in me speaking. Sometimes, you know, we have to take the bull by the horns, and we can do it in a way that isn't always so obvious. And that's what that feels like to me. It's just like, you know, I'm gonna give you a little bit of this back because you're giving me a damn headache, but you may not realize, you know, because I'm gonna do it real sly and subtle, you know, and I kind of like that energy, to be honest with you. Like, you know, if somebody's playing with your head, I'm totally okay with that. Okay, so let's pull another oracle card and see what it says for the collective. All right, well, you got 3 here, and all of them seem to be on point. Pay attention, nettle. All right, again, that's like looking not just with your physical eyes, but with your third eye. Pay attention, especially in Pisces season and with this Hermit energy. Like, you're intuitive, pay attention with your intuitive self and with your observant self, like that earth energy. Create space. Like, you're deserving of spaciousness around yourself. Like, there's a lot crowding your thoughts right now. What ways can you make space for a little bit of peace and stillness? Because that is a lot of what the Hermit wants for us. Center and ground. Center and ground. And I say that with the Father of Pentacles. He is centered. He's grounded. You know, he's learned all of the lessons of the Pentacles. This is the final card. So he has mastered this, you know, really, really learning to be rooted. And see, we've got nettle, raspberry, and clover. That might be 3 herbs that you might want to look into to help deal with these energies this month. So, and let's pull one more card. I have a little bit more of a sassy deck, so if you are on the sensitive side, please try to just, you know, take these messages with a little bit of levity and, you know, just have fun with them. But let's see what they have to say. The Rebel deck. All right. Let's see. You need food in your belly. Eat a fucking taco. All right. Have you eaten? You're acting like a big ass baby. Okay. So this means make sure you're nourishing yourself this month. Make sure you're eating, you know, at regular intervals. Are you drinking enough water? Sometimes, you know, those things can make all the difference in what energy, you know, what ways we can respond to certain things, especially when things are difficult. Let's grab one more. Or maybe somebody who's acting like an asshole, maybe they haven't eaten, and maybe you need to tell them they're acting like a big ass baby and they need to go eat. So different messages for different people. Okay. Thoughts can be sneaky lying bastards. Okay. And this is the Moon card to me. Don't believe every shitty thought you have. Okay. And that definitely feeds into that 9 of Swords energy, where, and that 5 of Swords too, your mind could be, you know, telling you some lies, you know, that you've heard from other people and you've really, really let them absorb into your energetic space. Like, don't believe every thought that you have, especially if it's something else that someone has implanted into you and it is not the truth of who you are, because your higher self, when it speaks to you, it will only speak messages of love. All that other shit, that is brain chemistry, or it's other people. So yes, thoughts can be sneaky lying bastards. So that is all the messages that I'm seeing for you, my loves. Okay, so make sure to leave a comment and let me know if this resonated for you. I'd really love to hear from you, and I want to make sure this is a true community. So, you know, maybe you guys respond to each other, responding to how each of these cards, you know, or these readings resonate. And I want to thank you for your presence, your time, and your energy, because that's truly where the magic happens. And thank you to the collective guides and angels for these wonderful messages. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with folks who could benefit from the messages. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Stay safe, be gentle with yourselves, and I'll see you again next month. Bye.